Hello everyone, Mikey Kung Pao Chang back here again today. I got a new guest to show you here. See, this little girl here, named Henry Bowie. Maybe we should call her Henrietta. She was named Henry before we knew she was a girl and started laying eggs and things. Anyway, something about this little bird that's very smart. I want to show you. Watch what she do. See how she become an eagle like that? You know why she do that? She do that because she just saw a cat. And she's smart enough to know that if they're a cat, that represent danger to her. Now, we're going to go look at something on the computer, and then we'll come back and talk about why Henrietta Bowie is a very smart bird, okay? So, we'll come back after we look at our computer clips. Okay, now we're at the computer. We're going to look at a few interesting things here. First thing we're going to look at, Judge doing a big eye roll when this LaViolette say, oh, Jodi wasn't manipulative based on the information I have, which is Jodi's interviews and Jodi's rise. That's the only thing she look at. Okay, let's see what she say.
I didn't see them in the materials that I read in terms of her relationship with Mr. Alexander, so I'm not sure how else to answer that.
Did you see that eye roll? That's pretty funny.
On the one side, we have demeaning multiple verbal slurs.
Yeah. Listen to this.
Ejection.
Listen to this. She's going to say that Jodi was not the perp of the greatest domestic violence, and that the 29 stabbings and the gunshot and the tire thrashing and the gunshot to the head and the throat slitting and all of that stuff was not nearly as serious as what Travis do by calling Jodi names. Okay, that's a good one.
The question is not the perpetrator of the greatest domestic violence Jodi?
No.
Well, I think that's about all we need to know about her testimony. Okay, so let's scroll on, because we already know she lied about everything. What's else interesting here? I think there's a reference to Spidey undies. Remember the Spidey undies? I thought that was a kind of a good one.
Miss Arias, other than what you've seen here in court.
How do you know Jodi received Spider-Man underwear from Travis on Valentine's Day? Did you see them, pictures, or anything else?
The only thing I saw was the text message between the two of them where she told him she was bringing the Spider-Man underwear.
Did you ever wear Spidey underwears yourself, Miss LaViolette? Okay, let's move on.
Hypothetically speaking, you found out that the stories about physical violence and Travis's masturbating to children were made up.
I would still rely on what I know about.
In other words, it didn't matter what lies she told, I would still believe everything she say, no matter how it was proved it was a lie. Okay, very good, LaViolette.
About the psychological abuse.
Let's move on.
And as I've said before, when I've worked with victims of purely psychological abuse, I've worked with the attorney, but we've also worked to get intervention for the person.
Sustained. What is the manifesto you referred to during your testimony?
Okay, just in case anybody don't know what that is, the manifesto is the thing Jodi wrote in Eureka, and she getting copies made and signing them, hoping she's gonna be famous. Okay, that's Jodi mindset, and hoping she can sell them for a lot of money. And she also says she's smarter than Einstein there. Okay, let's move on.
I actually don't know because I've never seen it.
But I made reference to it in my note.
What somebody said there was a manifesto.
Use incidents so vividly, but does not write anything, not even a reference to her feelings, in her journal.
Okay, she nailed her on this one.
About the incidents? About those incidents?
All the things that Jodi falsely claimed that Travis do to her. On those days in her journal, she say, nothing happened today, nothing important happened, or she talking about something stupid like, I switched the car with Travis, or we had some phone call. Okay, ladies, even if you didn't want to write anything negative in your journal, you would have made a reference, like, hey, I had a really bad thing happen today. I'm going to have to process that and my feelings and stuff. She would have at least written that. So we know it all lies made up later. But anyway, let's move on to something more interesting. Let's get up here to Jodi, because this crazy psycho, interesting to watch sometime. Let's see what she's doing up here. I think there was another sidebar or something. You know, there's lots of sidebar in this thing. Yeah, there they are, all up, standing up there. Now watch what Jodi do. This girl here going, man, I sure am glad I'm not that Mikey guy. I have to sit here so many days that he do. Hey, watch Jodi. Now watch. She looking in that bottle. What's she looking down for in there? What she think you're gonna find in there? She thinks you're gonna find, hey, what's that motorcycle? Intruding on my video. Okay, she thinks you're gonna find margarita down in there? Because I think that's what she's looking for right now. I think she's saying, is there a bug in there? Or maybe a brew fairy? Is there a brew fairy down in there to turn me into a real person? Okay, let's see what she do. It's kind of interesting. Now watch. She's very fascinated with that thing. I'm gonna pour it down here no one can see. Because, you know, they've been talking about the way I pour my water. And she got some very shifty eye. Okay, let's see. I want to show you something else, which I found interesting. Get a little further up here. And,
Yes, or very high on battery.
Or very high, okay.
am I right? Am I at the right spot? No, not at the right spot. Sorry. Production delay. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's the Weight Watchers Club. I'm a little premature here. I want to show you how Wilma bros it so badly.
Violet, the question that I asked you
What's this?
was, what, talking about,
Break. 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember the admonition.
Look at that.
10 minutes. Thank you. You are excused.
Look at the judge. Oh, she's smiling. She's going, hey, that's pretty funny. She really blew it bad this time. I think she really getting tired of the defense and all the sidebar and everything. And so she kind of, first time I see the judge smile in quite a while, I think. That was interesting. Okay, what'll happen here? I think lizard tongue on Jodi. Look for the Aryan snake lizard reptile tongue again. I have that on my note here, coming up in a second. There it is. We saw it. We saw that lizard tongue. Okay, everybody in a big hurry to go to lunch now. And the witness, she say, man, can I go now? I want to go get a giant bottle of Jack Daniels. So now, if we backtrack a couple of days, hey, what that doing up there? That LaViolette, when she was relaxing at home, we don't want to show her at home. So, hey, what that there? That one of the other picture of her. Get rid of that. Okay, how'd them get in there? Okay, so what we're going to see is, we're going to backtrack a day or two, retrospective of this week, and see that no matter what Jodi do, it's not stalking in the eyes of Violette. Which is kind of interesting.
Mr. Alexander has this fear of the defendant because of her stalking behavior. If they broke up, wouldn't that be an indicator of a stalking, or at least the beginning of a stalking behavior, when the parties break up and then the defendant moves to Mesa, Arizona? Wouldn't that be at least an indication or a starting point for this stalking behavior?
No, Your Honor. No.
No.
No? Okay. So
No.
you see that
Even if
as
Jodi be doing this, okay, Jodi be doing this, that not stalking,
appropriate,
okay?
that after the breakup and after the fact that they're in two separate states, that she moves to Arizona, you see no problem with it from a stalking perspective, correct?
We
I
broke
see
up.
no end to the relationship in any communication between Mr. Alexander and Miss Arias that
Except when he said
discourages her from moving, nor that acts.
You wouldn't see it no matter what happened. Okay,
Overruled.
let's see what else happened here. Got to show you something
I
interesting.
don't know how long she was there, Mr. Martinez.
She was long enough to see what you just described, correct?
Correct.
What I want to point out is that, aren't those interesting snarks on Nermi there? And the other thing is, don't he look like baby Huey here, sucking his thumb? Every time I watch him, I think, that baby Huey sucking his thumb. I think Nermi ought to learn to sit up sometime. Don't you think so? Anyway, I'm surprised the judge never tell him.
And at that point, isn't there an indication, at least from Mr. Alexander's behavior,
No, there's never an
that
indication.
he was done with the relationship because he had moved on to another woman, right?
When he says get lost, even that's not an indication in LaViolette's eyes. Okay.
You know when it was written, don't you?
Excuse me?
You know when this was written, don't you?
The Reagan-Housley?
Yes.
That was written in '08, I believe.
Right, and do you know approximately when in '08 that it was written?
I'm not sure the date in '08, but it was written in '08.
Let's go ahead and see the... oh, we got the Dr. Drew juror back there. See the Dr. Drew juror? She show up on Dr. Drew's show. You got to say, hey, who this here? I think that's LaViolette's sister or something, maybe. Or maybe her domestic partner. I'm not quite sure. Not the person who normally show up there. And we're going to see... somebody tell me what this means. We're looking for the word the other day. We're going to look at Jodi
Please
for a
admit
second.
that.
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
Can you admit that or not?
Same question.
See that smile? Yeah, Jodi think that all very funny. We'll see how funny it is when we move on. Okay, we're going to pause there for a second and be right back. Show some more things. Here we are back to events of yesterday. First thing we're going to see is that Jodi working really hard on her sad face. She's going, I'm getting better and better at my sad face, but I still don't know how to make tears. Don't know how to do that. Somebody got to teach me that one. Okay, then we're going to move on and see that LaViolette were caught in perjury today, which may be why, or yesterday, which may be why she's going to bring an attorney with her next week when she come. See, Jodi's still working on a sad face really hard. Okay.
Yes.
What are the names of the two men that you testified for in a criminal proceeding?
Objection relevant.
You mean when I told the jury, when I lied to the jury about it?
Yes, I'm trying to answer you.
Sorry, I don't
I'm
remember.
asking whether or not that case involving that individual was in criminal court, yes or no?
Did you testify in criminal court like you told the jury?
It was
No.
in criminal court, and I wrote a report.
Yeah.
I didn't actually testify.
No.
Right, that's the point that I'm trying to get across.
You right.
You were asked by the jurors how many times you had testified on behalf of a man in criminal court. Do you remember that question?
Yes, I did.
And,
Ask me answer.
and you remember that you said one or two times, right?
Objection, ask me answer. Sustained.
Well, you told us about this individual that we've just been talking about, this police officer. You did not testify in front of a criminal court, did you?
No, I didn't.
So you misrepresented something to the jury, didn't you?
Objection, mischaracterizes.
That's right. That's what she do. Okay. So now she in big trouble. She going poopy in her Depends right about now. Okay. So I want to show you something about Jodi here. Notice you can kind of see what she writing in the reflection of her glasses. I noticed that yesterday, and I think she writing Juan Martinez, my next stabbing victim. Anyway, or she writing her memoir, her next manifesto, because she a genius, you know, smarter than Einstein, she say. All right, let's see what we're going on her.
How about something else?
Oh, I know what. She's going to say, may we approach like she done 8 trillion times already? Listen to the judge sigh when Wilmot want to approach again. Poor judge, I feel sorry for her. Of course, she allowing it, but listen to this.
Objection, may we approach?
Yes, you may approach.
Yes, you may approach, but could you please bring a giant bottle of aspirin with you this time? Okay, anyway, what else? A couple more things, and we go on to the next thing. Oh, I know what we were going to look at. Check out, this is something I always wonder about. I can never quite figure this out. I'll show you. Maybe you can help me. See that near me? Every time they approach, he start looking down at something on the floor. And I'm wondering, is he expecting to find maybe a stack of money down there? Some Krugerrands or something like that? Maybe a few Big Macs and some fries? I can never quite figure that out. Anyway, we're going to go on to part 3. That Croaker Queen upload all this stuff for us. Thank you very much, Croaker Queen, because you're the best. And we'll go on, we'll be done. Okay, so we just back up and look at a couple of things happen over the last few days before we finish up. Hey, first they're whispering to each other as usual. Hey, love the outfit, yeah. Thank you for calling me, telling me to wear dark navy blue today. Okay, what else important here? We go up to where the Havasupai trip.
I read the Freeman statements, but
So the answer is no, you did not talk to him,
I
correct?
did not talk to him.
And that being the case, you are left with that rendition there as something that, in your view, since it's a primary source, is something that's truthful, correct?
It's something that I took to be truthful, yes.
Okay, hear what she's talking about. The only argument where we have a third-party witness was Dan Freeman. But she don't want to talk to Dan Freeman about what really happened. She just want to take Jodi's version of events where she say it was all Travis' fault. But the real version, we already hear from Dan Freeman on the stand. That Jodi want to put 50 pound of cosmetic into her day pack and haul it up on this big wrong hike they're going to take into Havasupai. And eventually Travis and Dan Freeman going to have to haul it for her because she wouldn't be able to. So Dan Freeman take the cosmetic out and Jodi get all mad at him. And then she start yelling at Travis because all she care about is her makeup. And she's going to take a picture of herself. Well, look at her expression. I don't know what she's thinking there. Anyway, so down with that about. Let's move on.
And if it's truthful, though, would it cause you to reevaluate how you viewed all of these entries in the journal if it were found that...
No, Mr. Prosecutor, nothing would cause me to ever reevaluate anything. No matter if I had a videotape of her. Okay, watch this. Jodi getting bored here, and I think she do a lizard tongue pretty soon here. But I think she's thinking to herself, you know, I'm getting awfully tired of sitting here. Could I go, like, maybe stand on my head over on that wall over there? Maybe root through the trash can a little bit or burst into song or something? And let's see if we can catch her doing the lizard tongue again. I think that coming up in a second. Jodi, did you do the lizard tongue? Or did I mark the wrong part? Okay, maybe I marked the wrong spot. Anyway, let's move on. And we're going to see where she went and slept in Matt McCartney. Oh, there was the lizard tongue. She went and slept in Matt McCartney's bed without his permission when he went there. Listen to this.
Went at some point, shortly after that, and slept in Mr. McCartney's bed without his permission.
Yes.
Again, isn't that, given in light of what happened with Mr. Wise, and in light of what's happening here with Mr. McCartney, doesn't that suggest to you a pattern of jealousy?
No, nothing.
It suggests a pattern of having a very difficult time letting go.
It suggests a pattern of me not being able to look at the evidence objectively. That's what it suggests a pattern of. Ever. In any way, for any reason. Okay. So what we're going to see here. Oh, lots of whispering. Hey. Oh, lizard tongue. Just saw it. Hey, I got some new Victoria's Secret lingerie. Do you want to come see it? Come to my cell. I will model it. Somebody sent it to me in the mail. Okay. Hey, did you know I was smarter than Einstein, Ms. Wilmot? You know, and I think Ms. Wilmot said, hey, yeah, I think maybe you could be the winner of the Miss Trailer Park Queen 2008 award, Jodi. And also maybe the Mensa Club for your town up there in Wairika. Yeah, anyway, okay, don't forget to come about the modeling for the Victoria's Secret lingerie, because I get bored there in jail all the time. Okay, so that's the end of that, and we scroll ahead. So I just want to show you one little thing on day 44 here. They were pretty funny. Watch this. They're all serious and everything. Then they start hearing a funny noise. Watch this. Jodi going, hey, what the hell is that? Don't know if you can hear it on this video. It's a ringtone. Everybody looking around going, what is that? You know how really dumb people leave their cell.
It's my cell phone. It needs to be turned on.
It's my cell phone. It's my cell phone. Okay, I thought that was pretty humorous. Okay, and but let's look at a couple things she said today. Juan caught her in a lot more inconsistency and thing.
According to you, when you spoke to the defendant, they were both in the closet when she pulled the trigger, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, she shot him in the closet, according to LaViolette, and that's what Jodi told her, by the way. Then she tried to backtrack and say, oh, I just got it wrong.
Part of
She always got a thing for everything. And it's about the knife. Then we get into the knife. She said that the knife was on the nightstand, which means Jodi had to go get it.
Is it true that she told you that the knife was left on the nightstand?
Yes.
Gee, wonder how it got in the bathroom then.
Ma'am,
For the
we've been
stabbing.
talking about...
In the hallway. Okay, let's move up.
Mr. Alexander indicates certain things about her. He indicates that you are a sociopath.
Boy, will he write about that. I wish he'd taken that advice to heart and know how dangerous she is. And he also say, you the worst.
Correct. It also indicates that I want you to understand how evil I think you are, correct?
Yes,
And then it ends it by saying, at least that box, you are the worst thing that ever happened to me, correct?
correct.
And that is true in this case, isn't it?
Objection.
Objection, objection. Somebody just said the truth around here. We don't want that. Okay, certainly Jodi were the worst thing that ever happened to him. Okay, we're going to move on from that to yesterday's testimony and wrap it up. All right, so we're back for the last little bit of the video clip. I was wondering, here we go again with Violette's twin sister or maybe her domestic partner. And then we have the crub that we talked about before. I don't like that they wear the ribbons because, you know, that should be for domestic violence, not for Jodi. She's not the victim here, that's the way they're trying to portray her. We know who the real victim is. Anyway, let's move on to something serious for a minute. And that would be when they show Travis family. Oh no, I get to see her again. Okay. Trying to keep a passive face on her. Make my face a mask that no one can read. This what I want to show you how serious. I can't say anything funny about this one, obviously, and for obvious reason, okay? This the result of this horrible, horrible woman being on the stand for 2 weeks, tormenting this poor family by spewing forth false testimony. So nothing more we can say about that. We need to move on to something else before I get depressed and scream at the camera and at the whole thing. So let's move up to something else. And I'm going to show you Jodi because I find this somewhat interesting, what she do. Watch, she's going to stare. Not only is she going to look around, but she's going to try to stare us down this time. Watch what she do. She's going to stare right at us. I know you all out there. I'm going to send my evil spell your way. You people think I'm guilty and everything. Okay, now she's shifty-eyeing around again. But thought that was kind of interesting. And now we're going to look at Violette. Just give a little clue into the mindset of the judge. She's getting pretty sick of this whole thing. And this false, fraudulent Violette who has now committed perjury. Let's watch what she do here.
I think you are aware of the additional issue, so we will need you to be back here on Tuesday. With regard to the time, I know that I have some other issues, but this is a priority. So because you cannot be here on Monday,
So enough with your excuses.
you need to be here on Tuesday.
You're not-
So it's either Monday or Tuesday.
you-
I'll allow you to decide which.
You're not wiggling out.
Which date you'd prefer to come back.
No, you're going to have to let me wiggle out.
And I may have follow-up tests that,
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes, Ms. LaViolette, don't tell me about your personal issues.
Ooh, I love it.
Here's my concern.
Judge fed
My
up.
concern is that we will have a conversation on Monday on the record after everyone has had an opportunity to follow up on the issue we've discussed. And at that time, I will hear anything else. You will have made preparations and we can talk about it at that time.
And you better bring your
All right?
attorney with
But
you.
Plan to be back here on Tuesday.
Okay, now watch this next thing. Watch Jodi. She's getting all pissed off because she had a bad day in court. Push the chair. Yeah. Remember when she went in Wairika and she was doing that? She mad. She knows that she going poopy in her depends right now if she has some future ones. And then last sort of thing of interest, this lady Miss Wong gonna come, and I think Miss Wong is gonna make everything white somehow. I don't know what she's gonna testify to, but watch this.
Back of the courtroom, is that correct?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Will you be here to testify?
If you order me to do so.
All right, I guess then I will order you to be here at 11 o'clock to testify. I understand that you have an attorney. If there is any issue, he can raise that. We will be here starting at 9:30 on Monday. All right? Anything else, counsel?
No,
Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Have a nice weekend. Except for you, LaViolette. I think the judge thinking to herself, I'm pretty sick of your perjury and your false testimony. Okay, we'll go do our final commentary for a minute and be done. All right, we back to wrap everything up. And you know what? What I show you in the crypts is like one tiny little 1/1,000,000th of all the way that Juan Martinez destroyed this witness, Alyce LaViolette. She finished. I think the defense team know it. And in fact, I think what they really needed here was a giant industrial-sized tub of KY jelly after Juan Martinez get done with them. Don't you think so? Anyway, so we won't go over all the things that we see that she get destroyed on. You see all that already, and you know all that. Trying to get the straight answer out of Violette, kind of like trying to pull the Jolly Green Giant out of quicksand, don't you think? When you're all greased up and slippery. It's a useless thing. It's kind of like... one would ask her and say, Ms. Violette, spying through the window like this, through the back window, trying to watch, probably for an hour, not for the 1 minute that Jodi say, watching with the other girlfriend, and moving to Mesa, Arizona, just right after they break up and everything, to be right next to Travis instead of being over in California, and slashing tires and coming around and sneaking through doggy doors and harassing new girlfriends and spying on texts and email. Is that a pattern of stalking? And Ms. Violette, Mr. Martinez says you mischaracterizing my testimony because I got a lot of things that I look at, I read a lot of things. I could go on and on like that, we all want to tear our hair out. It's the most frustrating witness, worse than Samuels, even worse than Jodi herself, don't you think? Anyway, he's like, oh, ma'am, did you get out of bed this morning? Yes or no? Well, Mr. Martinez, it's not a yes or no answer, not that simple, And besides, I went through a lot of information to come to my conclusion and, just go on and on. Anyway, what else? Okay, I show you at the beginning, and I promised you I would wrap it up. When we consider the testimony of LaViolette, there was some reason I show that nice little bird, that Henrietta bird. And remember she'd do this like eagle thing like that, and she'd get all freaked out when she saw a cat down on the floor. That wasn't even the Jodi cat, it was the nice cat that we have. The reason that she'd do that is because even though let me show you something. Little cockatiel like that have a brain about that big, okay? That's a little agate that I find on the beach, little tiny agate. And that's about the size of a cockatiel brain, okay? But even a cockatiel brain is big enough to know that if a dangerous marauding animal around it want to eat her, okay, and want to chew her up and slice her with the teeth and everything, she better be scared of that thing and better recognize what it is if she want to survive, okay? So when we think about all the time that LaViolette spent with Jodi, and she's supposed to be a professional, someone who can figure out what people are all about down deep. If she can't figure out after all that time and all those thousands of pages and all that time she spent with Jodi, that Jodi is a crazed, psycho, sociopath, narcissist, murdering, slashing killer, then her brain, either one or two things. Either her brain is smaller than that little bird's, okay, and she's the worst psychotherapist in history, or she is willfully ignorant and evil. And I think it might be the second. And I wasn't going to try to be mean. I wanted to give her a break when she showed up to do this. Remember my first thing on it? I said, she kind of a grandmother-y type, do good work with abused women and everything. And we want to acknowledge her. And I thought maybe one should be easy on her. But the more I watch her on the stand, the more I think it to myself, this woman might be even more evil than Jodi herself. Now, you're going to say to me, that's a little bit extreme, isn't it? She didn't go out and 29 stab somebody and slit somebody's throat and shoot someone in the head, and all that would be true. But you see, Jodi kind of have an excuse in a way. She an empty, black-hearted sociopath. She got no feeling for anybody or anything but herself. But LaViolette, on the other hand, is supposed to be a professional. They're supposed to come in here and give an objective opinion. Even if she's working for the defense, she's supposed to at least have some professional integrity. She's not supposed to come in and spew forth lies, tormenting Travis' family day after day after day after day, making them all cry. So in my opinion, for her to come in and do all this false testimony, and she perjured herself, she's going to have to come back with a lawyer next week. Okay, so in my opinion, she more evil than Jodi in some ways. So anyway, I want to close with something. Back to the wisdom of Solomon from the Bible. There's a verse that says, There are 6 things that the Lord hates. This Proverbs 6. 6 things that God hates. 7 that are detestable. Haughty. Now, I think between Jodi and Violette, they have all of these covered. Tell me what you think. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hand that shed innocent blood, a heart that defies wicked schemes like premeditation, feet quick to rush to evil, and a false witness who pours out lies. See that there on the bottom? A false witness who pours out lies. And what else the Proverbs say about that false witness? It say, the righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves, okay? So are we supposed to feel sorry now for Violette, that she's getting bad reviews on her website for Amazon and on all of her YouTube video where she's doing Alice in Wonderland, Violette, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? I don't think so, because I think we need to keep this in mind. That's what I think. Okay, so we'll come back and make some more video, but not on Alyce LaViolette. We're done with her. I hope forever, and I hope her career done forever. But, you know, we'll come back and do some more right-hearted stuff in the future as this trial progresses, if it ever does. And I can't wait to see what happened next week. It looked like the surprise witness is going to do something to Violette. I have no idea, but we'll see. Bye-bye. Don't go to a social path.